questions. I got a list of questions to ask Lea, and it was like, how do you stay so tiny?
I know, I saw tiny too. I was like, you would never say that to me. Oh, by the way, the songbook for Frozen's over there.
Just got a little I'm going to ask some really hard-hitting questions.
Okay, great.
The first one is, how did you think of the title, and did you think of the title?
Ooh, good question. I did an article for a magazine. I think it was a Canadian magazine, and in it they said, like, and I met her, and her brunette ambition shined through, or something like that. And it always stuck in my mind, and I was like, well, maybe I'll write a song, Brunette Ambition, and I had it written down, and then when I got asked if I wanted to make a book, which was, I think, sometime in 2011, I thought immediately, well, it had to be called Brunette Ambition.
I feel like you've coined a new phrase with that, like people are going to start saying
that. I hope so. You can be blonde but have brunette ambition. I think that it's really important. I think that the concept of brunette ambition is about the fact that you're not doing the typical, or what everyone thinks is, the mold or what should be. And I'm really proud of it. I'm actually working on my second book right now.
Can I ask you what that's about?
I can't say what it's about yet, but it is another, it's like, they'll all be brunette ambitions. It'll all be under the same, concept. And I think that you'll really like it. You go, girl! Thank you.
What's the difference between brunette ambition and blonde ambition?
That's what I just said. Like I said, like blonde ambition, I feel like is just the idea of like the typical, sort of stereotypical, and I think brunette ambition is accepting the unique side of things.
My next question is, what was the most challenging part of writing this book? What was the thing that you had the most difficulty with?
I think that the most difficult thing was the Glee chapter, just because there was so much to write, and I think that trying to put into words what the past 6 years has been like on the show was really hard, because it's hard for me to explain, what these experiences were like, to even put them into words. Maybe years down the road I'll be able to really kind of say what it was like. I'll need some time, but still being in it, it was sort of hard to comment on the experience. But I'm very happy with that chapter. I didn't get too deep with it. I could have gotten it, but I still think that I have to see everyone when I work with them every day, so I don't want to get too crazy.
That'll be years down the line when the show's over.
Yeah, in a couple of years, Brunette Ambition 25.
The Glee edition.
The Glee edition, oh yeah.
I did on the list of questions when they talked about the recipes that you have in the book.
Yeah. You can attest to that. I do cook all the time, and well, right?
So well.
Thank you.
Nobody poaches an egg like you do.
I taught you how to poach an egg.
You completely taught me how to poach an egg. Not on my own.
Have I made you that radicchio pizza? I think I did. And the grill outside.
Oh, yeah. So what's your favorite... So what's your favorite recipe in the book is the first question.
Okay.
And the second question is, how do you stay so tiny?
You getting excited? And suddenly it's like no one's in this room. And then me and you are going to be doing an airplane on the floor in 5 minutes.
expression on your face. And there's a story in the book
About when...
where she sometimes will hit me and she'll hit me, and so I'll grab her wrists. And one time when we were in DC, and you read this in the book, right?
Yeah.
I pushed her down onto the bed.
Sounds very sexual. Some guys would like love to hear that you pushed me down on the bed. I'm like the luckiest girl in the world.
Because
we were tickling each other, he said. It's getting worse.
And you peed yourself.
And I peed my pants. Violently. Okay, back to the question.
Yeah.
My favorite recipe in the book is definitely the jalapeno grilled cheese. I love grilled cheese sandwiches. I make them like every single night, and I do say sandwiches, and everyone at Glee makes fun of me for saying that. And then and how do I stay so tiny? I work out so I can eat whatever I want, and I make it a fun experience. But you'll never hear anyone talk more about food or enjoy food more than me. And I really believe if you enjoy what you eat, and if you're eating well, then you'll be healthy.
What about exercise?
Well, tell him, Jonathan, how do we exercise?
So
we do everything, right? So, okay, just a few weeks ago, we did, in like 1 or 2 weeks, we did Barry's boot camp. We did hot yoga together, which he sweats so bad. You guys, it was a pool. I was embarrassed. When the class was over, I was like,
you have to clean that up.
I run on my treadmill.
Yeah.
Sometimes when John's staying with me and he's going to an event, he'll be getting all glammed up, and I'll run on my treadmill while he's like, and he'll be like, we call each other mom and dad. Mom, look at you on that treadmill.
So inspiring. You do a big incline when you do that treadmill.
Or, I mean, why not? Why would I listen to music?
You do that.
No, I don't listen to my songs, but I listen to like Beyonce. Congratulations.
You introduced me to my first trainer.
I did. Well, my trainer that's in the book, Devin, who's a really good friend of mine, I introduced to Jonathan a couple years back, and I said to him, oh, you should work out with Devin. He's like, I'm not working out with a girl. And she ended up totally like changing your life, right?
I worked out with her for a year and a half. We trained together. She told me everything I know.
So there you go. He works out with her as well.
She's awesome.
Okay, what's another good question?
What is something that you either A, wrote in the book that you regret, and B, something that you really wish you would have put into this version of the book?
Okay. Well, let's see. So
you can answer either of them. If there's not something you can regret,
right.
like what's something that you want to put in?
Well, I did put a lot in the book about you coming out to me and what that was like. And I remember Corey telling me, like, when he read the book, he said, you have to be, let's be easy. He said, like, you gotta be careful because you're talking about someone. So I edited that a lot. I edited down that chapter a lot because I think in writing the book, it was very important to think about the people that I was talking about. And I really wanted to talk about everyone a lot, but when you do these things, and even when I do interviews and stuff and people ask me about cast members or stuff that's going on in the show, the reason why a lot of people don't like to talk about it is because you're talking about someone else and you have to take them into consideration, how it might affect them. So that's something that I don't regret putting it in the book because I did, trim it down. I really don't regret anything because I had a lot of, time with the book. And then what I wish that I would have added into it was I do wish I could have gotten a little bit deeper in the Glee chapter, like I mentioned, just because, there's so much that I would have wanted to talk about. When I read it, it's sort of a little bit of like just a good overall understanding of what the show is like, but definitely maybe in the future, like I said, down the road when, we have another year.
Autobiography.
And then, what is that?
Autobiography.
I mean, I'm 27. So
Later,
You're going to be a biography and I'll write it. Okay? let's say that there are some people in the audience here today that are interested in writing, and I want to know what your like inspiration, what your process, like what you're writing. Like we know your actor self, we know your singer self, but what's like Lea Michele the writer? What is she like?
Well, basically, what I did when I first got my book deal was, the thing is that in order to get a book, you have to at least come out with an outline, and the outline is at 50 pages long. So you get a good chunk of the book done just when you're pitching it to people. So what I did first is I outlined every chapter, or I just at least wrote whatever the chapters in order. Which is sort of weird because maybe I don't know if other people along the way be like, oh, and the next chapter will be this, and the next chapter will be that. But for me, I said, okay, these are the chapters. And then I went in and I did the outlines for the chapters. So for example, with Glee, I was like, okay, so first I want to talk about getting the part, then I want to talk about the experience of the show, and then I want to talk about some fan questions, and then I want to talk about favorite memories. And so then I had a good outline of what that chapter would look like. Then I would go home at night and I would take out my recorder and I would say, okay, Glee, season, getting the part of Glee on September 3rd, I auditioned for Glee, and then I would record it. So it was really just about kind of like making an outline and then going in bit by bit by bit by bit until at the end of the day, I had my whole book.
And so it came from also to like talking, like it wasn't you like Carrie Bradshaw or
No, I'm not a good typer, and I often have very long nails. And you can't even, it just was not like, and I don't even own a computer. I just have my phone. I'm not really technologically savvy. I think my computer is like from like 99 or something like that.
Wow.
So,
Windows 95?
So I would just basically record everything, and then I eventually had to get to a computer to just like lay it all out. But it was mainly on my recorder.
Had you written before, like even like a journal or anything like in your life? Was writing something you ever aspired to, or is it something that came because of like the time you were at in your career in your life?
I think as far as school, I wrote in school, and I was always a little intimidated by writing. But I think that for this book, I just had so much that I wanted to say, and I think I have so much I want to say for the second book. So as long as I feel like I have stuff that I want to talk about, then then it doesn't feel as intimidating.
I want to drift from the writing for a second.
Okay.
That's okay. I know our Barnes and Noble. But I feel like we should talk about your music video that just came out. It had like 1 million views in like a day. And I guess I want to know, like, you showed me in like a hotel lobby a couple of weeks ago, and I was blown away by it. I think it's so amazing. You've never looked better. It's like incredible.
Because you're so hot!
How do you feel in the reception now that the video is out in the world? Like, how do you feel about it?
I'm so happy with it. I mean, I had a very clear idea of what I wanted the video to look like, and when I picked my director, her name is Hannah, and she did a lot of Miley videos, and I just thought that she was super cool, and she would bring that really, cool element to the video. And we really planned everything out, in advance, really, really, really well, so that on the day when I went to the video, I didn't have to think about a thing. I just had so much fun. I seriously felt like I was at a party, and I love the song On My Way. It's like one of my favorite songs on the record, if not my favorite. I think maybe, it's like 1 or 2 on the list. And I'm so proud of the video. It's like I will always watch it and just be like, it makes me so happy. I think it's the perfect summer song. So yeah.
1 million people at the first day.
Yeah.
That's so exciting. So for those of us who buy the album, buy the book, like, what is your general time? Like, when is the next album happening?
Yeah.
Like, I don't have to give an exact or whatever, but like.
So we did find out that we're starting Glee a lot earlier than we expected this season. Even though it won't be airing till 2015, we're starting early July. So my hiatus will be June and a little bit of July. So I will try to get, I'm thinking right now there are 2 cities that I'm hoping to get to in June to go overseas.
London!
But hopefully that when we will finish Glee, in the beginning of 2015, and then I'll have time to do a real tour. Start working on my second record, either the end of this year or definitely beginning of next year.
And what about Funny Girl?
Yeah.
You have so much going on. Books, album, TV show.
Yeah. I really would, but I think that the reality is that in order to play that character, I have to have a lot of energy. And I think that it will take a lot of time to really, breathe after Glee is done. To do that show 8 times a week, it's really hard. Plus, I really want to tour the record, and I really want to work on another record. That for me right now is really my priority. If we can make it work, that would be great. But if not, then I'll be touring my record, so that's good too.
Take your time!
Take your time. Okay, so you have a book, you have an album, you have a television show, you have a tour that's about to happen maybe soon. How do you keep it together? You have so much going on.
Because I keep good people like you around. Right?
That's so nice.
I mean, you know me more than anyone. When it comes to me saying, I need this time for myself, I take it, right?
You're the most disciplined person I know. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
The most hardworking, the most disciplined.
And then when the free time does come, we use it wisely,
Yeah, Mexico.
We had the best. How great was that trip?
That was the best.
It was the best time. We had so much fun. Of course, he was so nice to everyone. He became friends with everyone that was there. And this was so crazy because we didn't speak a word of Spanish. Everyone that worked there, they didn't speak a word of English. So this one over here every day trying to have conversations.